Buckle up, folks. This is going to be a bumpy ride. When you go back in time to look at old games, you have to consider the passage of time. Now I can hear you saying, of course you do, Phil, you're looking at old games, which means they are objectively in the past, you doofus. And I can't argue with that, but maybe I can explain what I mean when we take a look at Last Battle. See, Last Battle was a launch game for the Mega Drive in the US and the UK, and was a reworked version of a Japanese game that launched in July 1989, about 6 months or so after the console itself was first available in the country. We'll come back to the rework thing in a minute, but let's look at those dates. The initial game in July 89, US release in August 89, then the UK release lands in September 1990. That's over a year between the initial release and when we got it, which is a huge amount of time, especially during this period, and especially in the belt-scrolling beat-em-up arena. Last Battle is indeed a belt-scrolling beat-em-up, but on a single plane. This was already a bit old hat even when it first came out in 89. I mean, that's 2 years after Double Dragon and a year after Final Fight. Last Battle calls back to the first scrolling beat-em-ups like Kung Fu Master, and the US and UK releases put up against a similar style Sega stablemate in the shape of Altered Beast. The problem is that A, the game plays terribly, and B, any charm or character has been removed from it. See, back in Japan it wasn't Last Battle, it was Hokuto no Ken Shinsei Katsumatsu Kyushu Densetsu, or in English, Fist of the North Star, Legend of the New Century Saviour, obviously. Now, a big license like that now would be a big deal, but back then, nope. The 1986 Fist of the North Star movie wouldn't hit the UK for another few years, so Ken gets binned and replaced with generic Punchy Man. Richard's review actually picks up on this, mentioning it was originally called North Star Ken, kind of, which is the only real high spot of the review. The highest score is sound with 60%, last ability the worst at 36%, sticking a knife in the heart with, it's all so bland you'll be bored within a few minutes, which means that the overall lands on 40% and it gets stamped onto its gravestone, a hopeless old beat 'em up. And that's that for Last Battle, that's spot on. Really is a slow, plodding, boring game that's no fun to play. A game that the passage of time has not been kind to, not one bit. Not at the time, and not now.